Hello. Today will be the first day of my summer CSS/web development challenge. I'll be attempting to create at least one website, or at the very minimum, one web page or one design every weekday, so that I'll be able to actually improve my skills and hopefully build a portfolio. So without further ado, let's get started. I set up an empty folder for the Summer CSS Challenge, and I guess this will be my day one. And then I just went ahead and got started. So first things first, I wanted to create a little bit of a design, and ideally I'd be doing this on Figma or some other actual design software, but since I haven't actually learned any actual design software, I just went ahead and did it in Paint. I probably could have done this in Photoshop too, but I ended up just doing it in Paint because it was a quick startup and relatively simple to use. And then once I had a little bit of a bare bones design set up, I decided to shop for some logos. Well, it wasn't really shopping, I just kind of downloaded them. Got some logos and icons for the different links and buttons that I would have on the website. After which I just got started building the website and structuring the basic HTML that I'd start working with. So what I ended up doing was I divided the page that I'd be working on into three main sections. I had a header with a logo and a unordered list navbar. I had a main section with a little sidebar on the left and a main content block to the right of it. And I had a footer with 3 social media icons and the logo once again. So here you can see me just putting all of the content in. I grabbed a couple images off the internet, as you saw before, and I used those icons and SVGs in order to just have the files that I'd be referencing from within the web page. Here you can see me starting to set up the CSS for the project, and in the CSS I set the sizing with a couple variables. I decreased the size of the logo images because they were just absolutely massive. And then I started messing around with the SVGs because for some reason they weren't resizing as expected. To be completely honest, I've never really worked with SVGs before in CSS, as I am, of course, still learning. And that was a little bit of a pain point at this stage. But eventually I just kind of set the size from within the HTML itself, which is kind of hacky, but I mean, it'll do for now. From there I started setting up the actual links and buttons from the navbar. Started giving them a couple styles, removed the background, removed the text decoration, colored them, and then I decided the actual web page was a little bit too bright. It was kind of hurting my eyes, so I made it darker. From there I changed up the actual font and the colors of it a little bit, started aligning stuff using Flexbox, started spacing stuff out with margins, and at that point I decided I'd try to mess around to test and see if the actual icons were properly working with links and whatnot. And after that got sorted out, I ended up trying to figure out the middle section where I had the sidebar on the left and the main content on the right. I managed to get the sidebar icons floated off to the left and the main content off to the right, and sizing them appropriately was relatively not very difficult. However, I couldn't really figure out how to space the SVGs because, once again, the same spacing layout and directions didn't really work on them, which was where I just kind of called it quits. So ideally, if I make it big enough, it stays in the middle, like that, yeah. It's just maybe at this point I might want to just squish it in a little bit. I don't know, this is decent. I'll leave it at this for now. Alright, save. Good enough for now. Cancel. Good stuff. Okay, so, well, that was my first day. I think I did a pretty decent job as someone who doesn't really know too much about CSS. I just kind of threw together this weird looking web page, but I mean, hey, it works. right? It's responsive. It's not too disgusting looking. Whatever. Good stuff. I'm gonna be back at it tomorrow, and hopefully then we'll have another video. Cool. Alright, have a great day.